went online and...
Did you do the F-score test?
I did.
Woo!
So I found that my triggers, my primary is trust, secondary is prestige.
That's very rare.
That's why I wanted to sort of like take a second, because I'm curious how that, okay, trust is my primary, secondary is prestige, and my dormant trigger is vice.
That surprises me. But let's talk about your primary and secondary first. First of all, trust is, like I said before, the most valuable trigger, and it's the most rare. In our study of 1,000 people around the country, around the United States, we got a very clear sense of people's attitudes about trust. And trust is 8 times more important than any other trigger. Trust is more important than all the other triggers combined in personal relationships. The problem is trust requires consistency, which requires a huge amount of effort to maintain that consistency. You can't be accidental in the way you deliver your message. And so most people don't have that level of consistency. Now, when you put that with prestige, prestige is not a socioeconomic claim. It's about having very high aspirations, being at a certain place within the peer group, and eliciting a response of elevation among people. So what's unusual to see about trust and prestige going together is that few people can maintain those standards over time. When the standards break down, then the trust break down. So that's great, and I can totally see it. What surprises me about vice being your dormant is that usually people who have vice as their dormant tend to not be focused on creative and passion and emotion. They tend to be more intellectual. But you're one of the warmest, most outreaching people I know. So there has to be some...
Well, that's why I asked. I mean, please explain this vice thing, because as I was reading everything through the book and on the site, I'm going, this doesn't make sense on me.
You know what I would say is that you have a tremendous respect for the people that you work with, for your students, for the people that you want to get to know, and you're very much about honoring the relationships around you. Vice doesn't always do that. Vice is a little bit, it's very independent, it's very rebellious, it's I'm going to do what I want to do, not necessarily I'm going to do what's best for you. And so I think that's where your trust trigger, because vice and trust are the opposite.
Right.
So I think that's where your trust trigger takes away down on the vice, because you're not going to do anything that transgresses your relationships.
An interesting, sort of like an interesting piece on the right brain, left brain learning. Our brand for our program, which I think you may have seen in places, we're all about left and right.
Right.
And it was kind of interesting when that idea came from one of my students, a group of my students. They came to me and they said, you know, we want to define the program, we want to brand the program. We're about business, we're about creative. Our graduates become into the creative departments as copywriters, art directors, traditional. And then on the business side, we're about account management, strategic planners, media, primarily in buying and planning. So that left-right brain sort of thing came into it, and I guess I'm hearing now sort of there's that left side of my brain that is all about the trust, and the right side wants to step out of the box so occasionally and sort of struggle. So,
I would say you'd probably be high on lust, because lust is about warmth and interaction and openness and create inviting other people to step into your circle. So I would guess lust is probably going to be your third.
Okay. Quick questions. I usually try and end off, when I'm with the guys, it's kind of like boxers or briefs, but I can't do that, obviously with you on this one.
Peter, option C.
Yeah, so Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Beatles.
Classical or jazz?
Neither.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Red or white?
White.
Louboutin or Nikes?
Louboutin.
Okay. Sally, an absolute privilege and pleasure.
Oh,
and I thank you so much for taking the time to meet us.
I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.